Following this morning's statement, I would like to provide you with an update to the fire at Freshwater Road in Dagenham. Firefighters with our partners have been working arduously through the night to bring this fire under control, and I can confirm we have now stood down the major incident. I want to place on record our thanks to the officers and crews who placed themselves at great risk and extreme dangerous conditions to successfully rescue and evacuate so many people that were faced with a significant building failure. An extensive search and rescue operation took place following a simultaneous evacuation of the building, and I'm pleased to announce that everyone has been accounted for. More than 80 people were evacuated by firefighters, and at least 20 were rescued, including using our fire escape hoods, which can provide 15 minutes of clean, filtered air in smoke environments, helping those individuals as we take them to a place of safety. 4 people were treated on the scene by the London ambulance crew, with 2 taken to hospital. We were able to use a range of new technology and equipment to help us bring the incident under control, including our drones, our 64-metre and 32-metre turntable ladders. This assisted our incident command team with delivering our operational tactics. We will now begin a full investigation into the fire and its cause. This was a very dynamic and challenging incident, and we all know undoubtedly there will be concerns around the fire safety issues present within the building, which will form part of our report. Our thoughts are with all those that have been affected, and our members and our officers and members of our dedicated community support team will remain present with the local community over the coming days to provide support where needed. Crews will remain on scene into tomorrow, carrying out further operations. I'm now available to take any questions.
I'll go with the Major from TRT Grove. You said that there was a number of known fire safety issues with the building. Cladding was being removed. How big a part did cladding play a part in this, and how much closer were we to a bigger disaster from moving further?
So what I wouldn't want to do is preempt an investigation. This was a very, very dynamic incident, and clearly it's going to require a very complex investigation, not only to get to its cause, but to get to an understanding of the fire spread. So it's too early at this time to be able to give any detail on that, but that will form part of our investigation in the coming days.
They're ready to lose what's better today to be in Ken's name at the coming days. And if so, is it going to be in program proceeding?
So at the moment, this is a multi-agency approach, not only with the emergency services, but with our support from the local authority. Initially, a rest centre was set up in Beaconsfield Health and Leisure Centre, and we know that residents are being looked after, and there'll be an ongoing plan to ensure the welfare of those displaced residents in the coming days.
Other than that, it's a BBC News. There was an enforcement notice for the building in 2023 with a number of failures. Do you know if those have been dealt with by the building or most cleared up?
So we're looking into all the history of the building as part of the investigation, and to the current state of the expectation of those improvements. Again, because that's part of the investigation, it's a little bit early to be able to give you a definitive answer, but that will certainly form part of the investigation process.
Some residents said the fire started on the ground floor and it was taken up the rest of the building by the cladding. Can you confirm this?
Again, it's very early to talk about how and why the fire extended in the way that it did. Fire investigation are on scene now, looking at the fire spread, looking at its severity, and looking why it travelled in the way that it did. But again, that will form part of our investigation, and we will look to that as part of our report in the coming days and weeks.
So, two other past fire being untabled. And the second question is spoken to a resident who said they didn't require an alarm. There was no warning at all. Are you aware as to running a fire alarm was settled?
So I can tell you that the fire is under control. However, the fire is a very complex operation, and we will remain on scene, damping this fire down for the coming days. The state of the fire alarm, whether a fire alarm was actuating, is part of the investigation. And again, it's too early, but the fire investigation team are looking at the actuation of the fire alarm and information from residents as part of our ongoing investigation, and we'll report that over the coming days. Thank you for your time. We'll now need to get back. Thank you.